Hey everyone, PianoManChuck here. This is day 2 of the NAMM show, and normally I have a video out on day 1 covering the new keyboards, all that kind of stuff. And I didn't do that on day 1 because there's really nothing new to report. There is, out of all the companies, there is one new keyboard. It's a Decibel S8, and I will get into that in a future video. But in the meantime, the companies that weren't here, like Roland and Korg, we already know about Roland. They have the new FPE50, and I should be reviewing that sometime in the future. Korg didn't have anything new. Roland and Korg weren't here at the show, but Korg decided at the last minute they were going to be here, not with any products or anything like that. They were just going to rent a very small booth, basically enough for a private room with a door you can shut, not even enough room inside to swing a cat, but basically for sales meetings. That's it. No equipment to show or demo. So, I mean, if I had to come up with a list of what's new in keyboards, it'd be like trying to pass the Kobayashi Maru. It's just not going to be happening. So, other than that, new Decibel. Now, we already knew about the Yamaha new keyboards, the SP500 and the CK88. I tried those. Yeah, they got some nice features to it, that kind of thing. And they're emphasizing the lighter weight on those keyboards. But the key action, I think, because of the lighter weight, the key action suffers. That's what's being given up to get you the lighter weight. Now, granted, before I tried those Yamaha boards, I was up in the acoustic piano department, and I was playing a Bosendorfer and Steinways and a Fazioli and a Beckstein. So going from that to this digital Yamaha, I'm sure that had a lot of bearing on how I felt about the key action, but then again, maybe it didn't. So I don't know. I can just tell you my gut. I wasn't that impressed with the key action on those. And I mean, the features, great. The weight, great. But like I said, whenever you cut down the weight, you're usually cutting down the keys action. Viscount, another player, they weren't here either. I think the NAMM show this year has just been here because there has to be a NAMM show. Next year, in January, they're going back to their normal January time slot. I think that's going to be more of a full show than we've had this time. And again, this time compared to last year, I mean, last year we had the lowest attendance, both in exhibitors and attendees. Amazingly enough, we had more new stuff last year than we do this year. So anyway, what I'm talking to you about in this video is more about the NAMM show than any of the equipment, and the show is a little bit different. Now, in every NAMM show, Yamaha is the big player, humongous. They have the hugest amount of exhibit space of all. Usually in previous shows, or in all previous shows up until this point, Yamaha, it was so big it didn't even fit in the convention center. They had to go and rent like 3 or 4 ballrooms that were back to back at the Marriott Hotel, which was just a 2-minute walk from the show. But it was humongous. I mean, a football field is smaller. That's how big Yamaha is. This year, they weren't at the Marriott. Instead, they were on the 3rd floor of the Anaheim Convention Center. It was a fraction of the size. Granted, they were still huge compared to most exhibitors, but a fraction of the size. So I hope it's not an indication of what the future is going to bring, but that's what's going on. Now, the most impressive product to me, and I'll put together a separate video for this, it's basically a speaker, subwoofer, PA, whatever you want to call it. It's a company called Bass Boss. And if you ever been to a party where the bass is so strong, you feel it beating in your chest cavity. Okay? I love that. I'm sure you do too. This puts all those parties to shame because not only do you feel it in your chest cavity, your clothes are vibrating against your skin. I've never felt anything like that. Your hair is standing up and vibrating. I mean, oh my God, it was such an experience. That was my favorite product, and I'll put together a video. I'm not sure what it's going to be like when you listen to it, but it had such clarity on regular voice, not just the bass, such clarity that if you close your eyes, you would not be able to tell the difference between somebody speaking or playing an instrument live in person in front of you or being played back on one of their loudspeakers. Now, American Music and Sound, which is the distributor for North America for Kurzweil, Studio Logic, Nord, Lewitt, Fostex, Allen and Heath, and a whole bunch of others, they took on Bass Boss. They will be the North American distributor for that. And speaking of new brands, I'm not a synth guy, but there's another new synth out there called Modal, which American Music and Sound will also be distributing. And again, I'm not a synth guy, but one of the guys that I was going through the exhibits with tried it out and said it was very impressive. Now, getting back to keyboards, Casio, nothing new. But I have an announcement for Casio because in the past, the Casio PX5S and the PX560, phenomenal keyboards, phenomenal stage pianos, and the PX5S, phenomenal synth capabilities. There hasn't been a new model since like 2013, 2014. So I was asking Mike Martin from Casio about that, and basically he said no, that they were focusing on the home group now, but they have definitely not given up on that stage piano synth market at all. So you may be seeing something new coming out in the future. Maybe not next year, maybe the year after, but maybe next year, I'm hoping. So I was really glad and relieved to hear that statement because a lot of people were ready to give up on Casio about that. Casio comes up with these products and they just kick ass. They just really blow away the competition in the same price range. So, and one of the answers to, it's been 2014 since they came out with a model, and he said, how long has it been from Korg's SV1 to SV2? And I said, oh yeah, well, it's been about 10 years. He said, no, it's been 12 years. So they haven't given up. Now going back to other brands, like Donner for the very entry-level pianist, and I reviewed the DDP-80, which is a really cool-looking wood-simulated keyboard, really cool-looking. Now they have a new one, the DDP-80 Plus, which is in a new case, and it really looks good. And it's got a thing that slides out so that it can close your keys with a wooden, simulated wood key cover. Looks really sharp. I won't be reviewing that because that's the only thing new about it. It's the same thing as the DDP-80, same sound engine, same key action, same everything, just in a different case. So I can't justify reviewing something where that's the only difference. But Donner has a few new pro audio products out, and I'll try and get to those in other videos as well because those look really impressive. So other than that, that's basically a summary of what's going on. This is why I didn't put out a video on day one. There was really nothing to put out. But watch for a video that's going to be covering Decibel, basically. And Decibel's parent company is Pro-L. Pro-L is parent company to a few other companies like Icon with an E, E-I-K-O-N. I actually reviewed some studio monitors from Icon. Very, very, very impressive. Compared them against the iLoud MTM monitors, which is hard to do because those monitors are so good, but it actually turned out to be very, very good against those. Check that video out. And they have some other brands that fall under the Pro-L category. Axiom and a few others. I'll get to those also in a little while. But basically, I wanted to put this video together to say, no, I haven't abandoned you. Yes, I usually put out a video on day one. There was just nothing to put out. So instead of working on that, yesterday I put out a video of John Fogerty being interviewed by the current CEO, Joe Lamond, and this is his last year in May. He is actually, after 22 years, he will be replaced with another CEO, but we wish Joe well. But the interview with John Fogerty was so cool. You've got to watch that. I'll try and put the link in the description. He was going to be awarded with NAMM's Lifetime Achievement Award. So we sat down for the interview, and it was going fine. 19 minutes into the interview, the fire alarm goes on. So the announcement comes over the PA. This is an emergency. Please evacuate the buildings. Do not use elevators. Use the stairs. Blah, 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 right? Turns out, I find out later, that the whole thing was due to a faulty sensor. I'm not going to mention which exhibit, because that exhibit had nothing to do with it. It's more the Anaheim Convention Center had a faulty sensor that triggered the fire alarm, and that ended the John Fogerty interview early. So sad. Anyway, that's it. Reporting from NAMM, day 2. I'm pretty much done here at NAMM. I would go home tonight, but day 3 and the final day is tomorrow, Saturday, and I have one more special treat for you that I'll be recording tomorrow. It's going to be well worth your while, so stay tuned and you'll see exactly what that is. In the meanwhile, I've recorded all kinds of other things I'll be putting together for you, which are going to be standalone videos. They'll be self-explanatory, but they're all related to the NAMM show. In the meantime, hope you enjoyed this summary. PianoManChuck, peace out. Thanks for watching.